Good morning. Yours truly, Dolphy Gilpin, coming to you from Georgia, United States of America. And this morning I'm on the topic CME. Let's just write it here, CME, Continual Medical Engineering Education, Continual Medical Engineering, Continual Matrices Education, or Continual Mathematical Engineering Education. CME is, has multiple meaning with one common abbreviation. Okay, this morning I'm on a solution to many problems facing our environment, facing our world, facing the human body. As you might see here, it's the element oxygen. The element oxygen, which is common symbol O. Now, this oxygen is so reactive that normally in nature you never usually find it as a single atom O, but it comes as a paired molecule O2, which is a dioxygen O2. That's because of the reactive nature of oxygen in nature. Normally never find it as a single O, but in combination O2, two molecules, two atoms to make one molecule of oxygen called dioxygens. Okay, the amazing 5x12 matrix IPCA in the implicit pharmaceutical consideration application, and we have oxygen. But first, let us look at some properties of oxygen. You see, oxygen has an atomic number 8, and atomic mass or weight 15.9994. Normally they use it in 16 to make calculation. And as you already know, there's a difference between the atomic mass and the atomic weight. But for now, we'll use them interchangeable. So there's a difference between atomic mass and atomic weight. Okay, now here we have the oxygen represented here with 6 electrons in this outer ring and 2 in the inner ring, atomic number 8. And it's usually in the electronic configuration of He, helium, 2s2, 2p4. So that 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So that's the electronic configuration of oxygen. And here we have it now, oxygen coming together to get the dioxygen, O and O with a double bond. It's represented here, 2, 4, and 2 electrons here, combining with 2 electrons from another oxygen atom to form O2. And these are all various different representation of the same thing, oxygen coming together to form the double bonded oxygen O2, oxygen molecule. And this is the Lewis dot structure of oxygen. And in the various forms, the Lewis dot structure. Here we have it, see 2 oxygen from one atom and 2 from the other, combined here, and this is 1 bond there, 1 bond, to get a double bonded oxygen dioxygen, as they call it. And this is that. That's for the Lewis dot structure. We're going through some various properties of oxygen before we get on. And it's an ANS now, supported by our AMZ5x12MIPCA. So here we have some properties now of the density in the AMZ5x12MIPCA configuration mode, ODY, D, and 00142000, atomic mass 15.99994, OPM, which is the proton mass, oxygen proton 100,72766, and neutron mass 100,86654, and electronic mass 5484. think multiply by 10 to the, what is it now? It's multiplied by 10 to the minus 1, that's I believe about 12. Nevertheless, you can look that up for me. But all these are in the atomic mass unit. So we have to get everything in one unified, consistent unit in order to sort of make any calculations by the PDM or by any other method. We have to unify. So this one is in the atomic, all of these are in the atomic mass, whereas the density was given in grams per molecule, something like that. Okay, so now we look at some various abnormality in the body, and there was many other described in previous lectures. Hypoxia, which is a low oxygen in your tissues. Hypoxemia, low oxygen in the blood. And anoxia, which is an extreme or lack of oxygen. So anoxia is an extreme case of hypoxia. No symptoms for these hypoxia: rapid breathing, shortness of breath, bradycardia, tachycardia. Bradycardia is just a slow heart rate, tachycardia, fast heart rate, changing color of the skin, wheezing, swelling, cough, damage to the brain, liver, and other organs can occur in minutes due to this lack of oxygen. So we see the intrinsic value of this oxygen, and it's universal in that oxygen in nature, in the atmosphere, is the second most abundant gas, occupying about 20 point, let me write it down here, about approximately 20.8, yeah, % in the atmosphere. And nitrogen is the most abundant now. That's occupy about 70 point. Hey, let's put that down. Or AMZ5x12 will give a more precision thing, but I'm just giving oxygen about approximately 20.8 and nitrogen about 70 point something. 78, I believe, yeah. 78 and 20, yeah, I think about 78%. 78% nitrogen and 20% oxygen in the atmosphere. So it's the second most abundant gas in the atmosphere. Universally, it's about the third most abundant element in nature, coming behind helium and hydrogen. So that if you go in the universe, it's the third most abundant element, coming behind helium and hydrogen. So that's oxygen, and that's from one source. Other sources might have different statistics on this oxygen. So we have briefly some of the causes of hypoxia here is COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or chronic obstructive lung disease, COLD, emphysema, bronchitis, pneumonia, pulmonary edema, anemia, cyanide poisoning, and when you take strong pain medication, sometimes you could have hypoxia, called hypoxia, with cyanosis. The skin change color from red or sometimes purple, cyanosis of the skin, or a changing color of the skin. So those are some of the abnormality and malignancy caused by deficiency in oxygen. And we know that this universal element, so intrinsic to human life, you could directly administer this oxygen via tube to attach to the nose in case of cases where there is immediate need for oxygen, and by a mask covering the mouth and the nose there, and with tubes with a source of oxygen supply, and then you administer this oxygen directly to a patient that is in dire need of oxygen. Well, those are doing in emergency ward, the intensive care unit, whereby such procedures are done, can tell you more detail what's happening there in the administration of oxygen to patients who are in dire need of oxygen supply. So that's just a brief overview of the oxygen. And what we'll do now, we'll introduce now our IP AMZ5x12 matrix, IPCA. And this was encountered upon by the magnetization property of the AMZ5x12 matrix, or the AMZ5x12 matrix. So via the magnetization property of the AMZ5x12 matrix, in addition to this intrinsic element, universal element oxygen, we came upon now the periodic table. Now the periodic table is an extension of a 5x12 matrix, and if you look, you count here, now we could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by about 18 across. So it's a 7 cross 18 matrix, and if you do a little separation here, you have a 2 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, a 2 by 14 for the lanthanides and the octanides series. So we have a 7 cross 18 for this matrix, which is an extension of our 5x12 matrix. I call it a sort of stochastic matrix. And here we have now all the elements with a lot of these up here are blank or null. So all of these here shown here would be blank. And the idea is that some scientists or chemical scientists would have come about and find some element that would fit into here neatly and complete the periodic table, the 7 by 18 matrix. But up until now, although we have met new and discovered new elements, this matrices form has remained approximately the same in this region. So here we have now hydrogen with atomic number 1, and helium over here with atomic number 2, lithium atomic number 3, beryllium atomic number 4, carbon atomic number 5, carbon is atomic number 6, boron is atomic number 5, hydrogen, helium, beryllium, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, 6 is carbon, hydrogen, helium, beryllium, hydrogen, helium, lithium 3, beryllium 4, boron 5, carbon 6, nitrogen 7, and oxygen 8. This is the oxygen that has led us here to this periodic table. Oxygen plus the magnetization property of the 5x12 matrix, which we are magnetized now to a 7 by 18 matrix, which is a larger matrix, extending to a stochastic sort of matrices here. And so if we continue, we'll see now the elements which occupy the periodic table. Now that's a separate lecture, which we will embark upon sometime when we pull out and extrapolate with some of these other elements. But for today, we are dealing with oxygen and its importance with some brief properties and characteristics. A brief history of it was that it was discovered by Antoine Lavoisier in about 1792. And there was another discovery there, but Antoine Lavoisier got the credit for it. But there was another gentleman there that was there in the discovery. Nevertheless, here we are. I think he called it D4, something about D4 air. Excuse my pronunciation there. Anyhow, these are the elements of the periodic table. And down here you have the lanthanides and the octanoid series, and we will embark upon it in more detail. But for now, let us conclude here with oxygen, its property, and what deficiency in oxygen can lead up to, and its position in the periodic table with atomic number 8 and atomic weight 15.9994. So we'll come back to the periodic table with elements at another time. But let's just revert back now to our oxygen here. And as you can see, I have sort of put all these ODY oxygen density, atomic mass, proton mass, neutron mass, and electronic mass. Now, atomic mass is usually the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. And protons, neutrons, and electrons, they have a sort of a standard charge, mass, volume, and so forth. Magnitude. And this is just the configuration in the IPCA here. We have not done any processing with it, we just have it laid out like that. So with that, we will conclude here until we get back to other elements with solution to problems in the health field. So let's just take a break and we'll return.